So the first is to look at whether or not a company is citing relevant or credible data. It's very easy for companies to say they're setting net zero targets or making commitments, but if they don't have measured baseline data or they don't set interim metrics for how they're going to count their carbon emissions, then it's hard for us to take them seriously. The second thing we look out for is whether or not a company has relevant expertise in the product or solution that they're talking about. So everyone can plant a tree or, do some recycling activity, but whether or not it actually works to reduce the carbon footprint of a company at its operational level is also a sign that the company might be greenwashing or just doing these initiatives to come across as being more green. The third is whether or not companies are acknowledging the challenges of implementing their solutions. So it's very easy for companies to want to paint themselves as the good guys, but are they looking at the concerns of all their stakeholders, including the local society, their employees, even their shareholders? I think that is something else that we want to see a company understands when it's trying to implement solutions, that it's taken into account these different debates and conversations, and having that level of honesty is something that makes it much more credible and less greenwashing. Fourth, I think what clearly comes across as greenwashing is when companies only push out sustainability-focused messaging on occasions like Earth Day, World Environment Day, which I understand is what this Vox Pop is about. But I think if you're truly focused on sustainability messaging, then you're going to have to talk about it definitely more than twice a year. Another way we look at it is whether or not the sustainability function within a company sits at a decision-making level or is just assigned to the marketing and communications department alone. One of the biggest red flag for us when it comes to greenwashing is whether or not the media is given access to ask hard questions when it comes to claims or statements that are being made, and if a relevant spokesperson is able to take those questions. I think this applies not only to environmental or sustainability concerns, but across the board. If you are able to be transparent about where you're at, especially in your sustainability journey, we understand that not all companies have a whole lot to say about where they're at if they're just starting out. But I think if you can be transparent and if you can grant that access, then it makes it a lot easier to dispel any claims of greenwashing.
A key to spotting a greenwashing story pitch is to first identify, the intention. When an entity tries to say that they are doing something to resolve an environmental problem, I think one way to see is that they're really trying to uplift the communities that are impacted by that environmental issue. So it's not necessarily about selling or marketing their product, but it's more about how to really resolve a problem that is affecting the general public. Whether they're willing to be really transparent about their products or the technicalities of how they want to resolve something. Ask them point blank forward whether they are whether this is going to be benefiting more the general public or just a certain community.
The story pitch will have some of the expertise name. For example, if let's say that the story pitch would like to discuss about haze, or maybe talk about the climate change, or maybe talk about the renewable energy. So the story pitch will be included some of the experts from the particular topic. Any event related to environment or climate change, I will make sure that there will include a tentative program so that I can identify which topic or which forum that I would like to cover or interesting to be covered as a features story. I would like to ask from the organizers or maybe the PR person to get an one-to-one interview with the panel, with the panelists after the event.